America is facing a moment that feels historic. Many people feel the country is divided, stressed, and confused about the future. But what if I told you that the same patterns once appeared in an ancient superpower that ruled more than 2,000 years ago? The Han Dynasty, one of the longest and most powerful empires in world history. Historians call the fall of the Han Dynasty a slow and painful collapse. And when you study the facts, you start to see that America today is repeating many of the same mistakes. Not by accident, but by pattern. A pattern that has appeared again and again in big civilizations. A pattern that usually ends in collapse. Let's break down the signs one by one, with real historical evidence, modern reports, and clear examples that anyone can understand. In the late Han Dynasty, power slowly moved away from the emperor. It shifted into the hands of rich landowners, political elites, and influential court groups. According to the Cambridge History of China, the emperor often became a symbolic figure, while real decisions were made by elite families and power groups. Now look at America today. According to a report by Princeton University, policy decisions in the United States are heavily influenced by wealthy donors and corporate lobbying groups. The study even said that average citizens have very little impact on major government decisions. This is the same pattern the Han Dynasty saw a strong state becoming weaker as power moves into private hands. In the Han era, powerful families controlled land, taxes, and military positions. In modern America, powerful corporations and wealthy elites influence laws, industries, and even foreign policy. According to the Brookings Institution, lobbying spending in the U.S. has crossed billions per year, shaping key decisions on taxes and regulations. This creates a divided political system where leaders argue, but no one solves the real problems. Historians note the same thing about the Han Dynasty. Government gridlock became normal. Corruption increased, people lost trust, and the system slowly began to break. The Han Empire struggled with extreme economic stress. Taxes were heavy on the common people, inflation rose, and productivity began to fall. According to the Book of the Later Han, common families were crushed under rising costs and shrinking opportunities. Now, look at America today. According to Pew Research Center, the American middle class has been shrinking for decades. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, real wages for many workers have not grown in years. At the same time, prices of housing, healthcare, and education keep rising. In the late Han Dynasty, small farmers lost their land and were forced to work under wealthy landlords. Today, according to Forbes, more than half of all residential purchases in some U.S. states are being made by large investment companies, not families. This is the same pattern of economic concentration that destroyed the Han economy. Inflation also damaged the Han. They printed too much currency to pay for wars and government costs. According to the World Bank, the U.S. national debt has reached historic highs, and interest payments are becoming one of the largest federal expenses. When a state spends more than it earns, the foundation becomes unstable. This was true for the Han, and it is true for America. As the Han Dynasty weakened, society became divided. People did not trust the government. Communities fought over values, and the empire split into groups that blamed each other for every problem. According to the records of the Grand Historian, by the end of the Han era, the empire was filled with protests, rebellions, and cultural conflict. The most famous was the Yellow Turban Rebellion, a massive uprising driven by frustration and hopelessness. Now look at America. According to Pew Research Center, political polarization is at the highest level in modern history. People trust government less. People argue more. Social media has turned small disagreements into cultural battles. In the Han Dynasty, small cultural differences slowly became big conflicts. In America today, issues like identity, politics, economy, and national direction are turning into long-term divisions. According to Gallup polling, National unity in the US is at one of its lowest recorded levels. Civilizations collapse when they stop seeing themselves as one people. This is exactly what happened to the Han, and the same fracture is spreading in America. One of the biggest reasons for the Han collapse was frontier pressure. According to the Journal of Asian Studies, border regions became unstable, tribal groups pushed inward, and the Han struggled to control migration and movement. The government could not agree on how to manage it. Some leaders wanted strict control. Others wanted a more open policy. The disagreement weakened the state. Now look at America. According to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection data, the U.S. is facing record high numbers of unauthorized border crossings. Some states are taking independent actions. The federal government struggles to create a unified strategy. This is the same pattern. A powerful empire losing control of border systems, leaders disagreeing, states acting separately, and society becoming divided over the issue. Historians say this exact conflict accelerated the fall of the Han Dynasty. In the late Han Dynasty, military spending became too high. They were fighting frontier battles, internal rebellions, and regional threats all at the same time. According to the Cambridge History of China, the Han military was stretched thin, and the government spent more money on war than on the needs of the people. This created long-term stress on the empire. Now look at America. According to the U.S. Department of Defense budget report, the United States spends more on the military than the next several countries combined. This spending protects global influence, but also creates pressure on the national budget. According to the Congressional Budget Office, defense spending is so large that it limits investment in infrastructure, education, and social programs. This is similar to the Han. The Han Dynasty spent so much on military operations that they could not fix problems inside their borders. When a nation spends too much fighting outside and not enough healing inside, collapse becomes easier. Military overextension does not destroy countries instantly. It weakens them slowly. And that is what happened to the Han. And this is what many economists say about the modern United States. One of the key reasons the Han Empire collapsed was the loss of trust. People stopped believing that the government could solve problems. According to the book of the later Han, citizens believed the state was corrupt, unfair, and disconnected from their lives. This loss of confidence made the empire fragile. Once people stop trusting the system itself becomes unstable. Now look at America. According to Gallup's National Confidence Survey, trust in major institutions like Congress, media, and government has dropped to record lows. Millions of Americans feel the system has not listened to them. According to a report by Pew Research Center, more than half of Americans believe the political system is broken. This mindset is dangerous. Civilizations collapse not only because they face pressure. They collapse because people believe they cannot be fixed. In the Han Dynasty, once trust collapsed, rebellion and division accelerated in modern America. The same loss of trust is visible. This is a powerful historical parallel, and it shows why this pattern repeats in big empires. When the Han Dynasty weakened, local warlords gained power. Regional leaders started making independent decisions. According to the records of the Grand Historian, the empire entered a phase where states acted like separate governments. The central authority became weak. This fragmentation is one of the classic signs of collapse. Now compare this with America. According to the National Governors Association, U.S. states are increasingly ignoring federal direction on issues like border control, immigration, drug policies, and environmental rules. Some states are even challenging federal laws in court. This rise in state-level independence is a modern version of fragmentation. The same thing happened in the Han era. Regional leaders became more powerful. Local interests became more important, and unity weakened. Historians call this the pre-collapse phase, not the collapse itself, but the stage right before collapse in America. This fragmentation is rising every year. This is one of the clearest parallels between ancient China and the modern United States. The Han Empire did not fall from one because it fell because economic breakdown, cultural division, political corruption, and military overreach came together at the same time. According to Cambridge University Press, collapse happens when multiple stresses hit at once, and the government cannot handle all of them. Now look at America. According to reports from the IMF, World Bank, Pew Research, and the U.S. Census Bureau, the United States is facing high national debt, political division, social conflict, shrinking middle-class trust, collapse, border pressure, global competition. Each problem alone can be managed, but when all of them rise together, the risk becomes much bigger. This is the same pattern the Han Dynasty faced. Multiple crises happening at the same time when systems are overloaded. Even the strongest empires fall. Historians say it does not matter how rich or powerful a nation is. If the internal structure becomes weak, collapse becomes possible. This is why these comparisons matter today. Before the Han collapsed, people still believed the empire was too big and too powerful to fall. According to the Journal of Chinese History, the Han was the superpower of its time. Its culture dominated Asia. Its economy was huge. Its military was advanced. Yet it fell because the foundation became weak. Now look at America. According to Rand Corporation, the United States is still the most powerful country in the world, but internal problems are rising faster than external threats. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, the biggest danger to America may not come from China or Russia. It may come from inside the country, the same way the Han Dynasty collapsed from inside, not from outside. This is the major lesson of the Han Dynasty. Power does not disappear overnight. It breaks slowly from the inside.